Hello everyone, this is Ross here, and welcome to another episode of Life Discussions. Thank you so much for joining me once again. First of all, I want to say thanks so much to everyone who listened to episode 1. I put my heart and I put my soul into that, and it was, tough at times, but I'm really glad that I did it, and I'm so thankful for all of the amazing reception I've received from that episode from so many amazing friends and family. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And as I've said many times, you all contribute to help making me a better person and a better man, and I'll always appreciate each and every one of you for it. Now, in this episode, I'll be talking about relationships. I will be discussing how to enter, how to maintain healthy relationships, as well as things you should be avoiding. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate it very much. So as teenagers, many of us begin to think about dating someone that we are naturally attracted to, particularly when hormones start to develop. However, even though I did have a few girls that I liked when I was in high school, I found that I was much happier hanging out with friends, enjoying the type of entertaining things that we all loved, such as TV shows, movies, video games, and sports. Now, the main reason why I chose to focus on these things and not date at all was because I felt it was in my best interest. See, when I first started high school, from day one, I began to witness people disrespecting each other, particularly those that fancied themselves as a so-called cool group. So in trying to make sense on how to best handle myself through all of this, I figured that keeping my hands to myself and not getting involved intimately with anyone was definitely the best way to go. Now, sometimes it is possible for relationships to form in high school and carry on successfully into later life. For those who can find the right person, I'm very happy for you, very much so. But in my opinion, the safest and far less stressful thing to do is to wait until you're an adult or until you're out of high school before you start dating. Because that way, you'll be more intelligent, you'll be much better at making sensible decisions, and you'll be much more likely to be involved in a secure, genuine relationship that will last. Now, another thing I learnt was that even as a teenager, there's somehow this belief by many in society that people who are dating are automatically better or cooler people, and those who aren't are somehow considered to be worse people and are often looked down on as being inferior, particularly people who lack sexual activity. And when I used to turn down anyone that wanted to date me in high school, that's when the homosexual rumors started. Now, here are some key things that I want to make perfectly clear to everyone. Nobody is a better person whatsoever because of how many people they sleep with, or if you haven't slept with anyone, you are not worthless or pathetic. If anything, you're a much better person for not sleeping around and being more responsible and not sleeping for some number or so-called gratification that means absolutely nothing. Not only that, but there is so much trouble you can avoid, be it health risks or angering other potentially violent people known to the person that you slept with. Now, calling someone gay simply because they don't wish to date someone at that particular time is absolutely wrong, as is using that term to negatively describe someone. Because there is absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever with anyone for being homosexual, and we need to treat people with equal respect regardless of what their sexual preference is. Another thing that's extremely important to remember is that you're welcome to date anyone of any ethnic group that you choose. Now, I know there are certain cultures and many families that prefer people of the same ethnicity to date, and even sometimes there's even people that forbid dating other races. But to me, it is important to break free from these ridiculous and outdated restrictions. It is extremely important to learn all of these things at a young age, to keep ourselves in check, and to be the most responsible and respectful people that we can. Because equal respect and treatment of others is what helps make this earth a better place. Now, when it comes to pursuing a relationship, this is my advice, and what I firmly believe is always important to remember in order to lower the risk of trouble for everyone involved. Keep it professional, and don't be afraid to keep your hands to yourself. I believe that until you get to properly know each other the right way, the best thing to do is to take it slow. And as I said, keep it professional. A handshake is definitely the best way to go, or a quick hug perhaps. However, if the other person seems nervous, it may be best to just have a handshake instead. Do not start kissing until it has been established that you can trust each other. Now, at this point, you may think that I'm being paranoid, and that's fine. You can believe that if you'd like to. But unfortunately, society has many people these days throwing around many accusations, whether they are true or false. And unfortunately, there are many people who like to make up lies and accusations in order to get their own revenge or self-gratification. So this is how I feel is the best way to avoid of being accused of anything. Keep yourself out of jail and keep yourself out of trouble. Now, if you are going to arrange to meet someone, I would highly advise to go to a restaurant where you can just eat and talk. I would advise against drinking any alcohol on first dates until further trust is earned, but if you want to, make sure that you only have 1 to 2 drinks at the most. But definitely do not attempt to meet anyone at a club, especially because of all the alcohol involved. Alcohol inhibits thinking, and you need as much awareness as possible, especially when there's a lot of other people around you. By not drinking around others, you lower the risk of getting into trouble, especially when it comes to potentially violent confrontations. Do not participate in one-way text messaging. This means if you have been messaging someone and they don't respond to you, that means it is time for you to stop and leave them alone. In addition, if the other person regularly gives you reasons as to why they choose to not contact you, it is also time for you to move on. Don't get angry or upset about it. It's their choice. You don't have to like it, but it is a part of life, so just respect their choice to not talk to you anymore and move on. If the person that you are trying to get into a relationship with still has regular contact with their ex, end things immediately, because that's just trouble that you don't need, and likely it will happen if you continue to try to pursue someone that is still in regular contact with their ex. Now, before pursuing a relationship, I firmly believe that it is vital that you are financially independent first, because I think that most relationships are more likely to last and be more genuine if both people can contribute financially for each other as well as emotionally. And if things don't work out, then both people can go back to looking after themselves as they did before the relationship began. Now, I'm not afraid in the slightest to say that I'm actually 28 and I've never dated anyone before. I went through so many incredibly hard problems that I had to overcome, and if you'd like to hear about them, please feel free to go to episode 1. Anyway, going through these problems had me on a constant daily mission to rebuild myself. In addition to what I mentioned before this, I also refused to date anyone until I can become financially independent first, because I would find it very disrespectful to be with someone who would be essentially forced to pay for the majority of things for me without me bringing in a proper income, and I flat out refused to let that happen. When the time comes that I decide to enter a relationship with a woman, I would want to be the best man that I can be possibly for her by contributing equally, and also be the best man possible that I can be proud of myself. But in all honesty, I'm very fortunate and blessed because I never feel sad in the slightest about not having ever dated anyone before, and I don't care if anyone thinks less of me for being a 28-year-old virgin. I'm very happy for chasing goals and dreams that really mean the world to me. Plus, I get a lot of love and respect from all of my incredible family and friends, both near and worldwide, on a daily basis anyway, so I really don't need to find a girlfriend anytime soon. So, with that all said, this is going to be the end of this episode. I wish each and every one of you all the very best in all your lives. Be the best that you can be every day and in every way that you possibly can. Do favors for your friends, family, or your loved ones without expecting anything in return, and continue to share love, respect, kindness, and gratitude. I hope that you're always safe, happy, and healthy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, everyone.